is a multi-platinum, 5-time Grammy-winning musician. His latest album, The Best of Bublé, is available September 27th. He's also a new coach on The Voice, which airs Mondays at 8 right here on NBC. Let's take a look.
Wow, Chiara, ¿en serio? Per mí? Cuando yo escucho su voz es un placer.
Okay, cut it out. Show off.
Soy una grande fan de Luis Miguel, de Reba McEntire,
Me too.
pero...
What'd he say?
He said he know Luis Miguel and all these people. Ain't nobody care nothing about you knowing all them people. She talking about what you gonna do for her, man.
Yo quiero hacer de vida la mejor. I want to make your life better.
I understand your Spanish. It's great.
You and me doing... Tu carucacu.
Okay.
Is this fair?
Please welcome to the show, Michael Bublé! I had no idea.
Muchas gracias. Estoy muy feliz de estar con ustedes.
How long have you had that in your back pocket?
Well, yeah, isn't it great? That's the first clip I think I've seen of The Voice.
It looks great.
It's going to be
It's
so
a fun vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's you and Gwen and Reba and Snoop.
Totally. All of us so high the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Was Snoop so excited to meet you?
He was so excited to meet me. Finally, Mike is so much better. I was terrified, man.
Of course.
It's so much better than I ever thought it could be.
It's wonderful.
Because I deeply love them. We're like family. We're like best friends.
It's really nice to hear. Now, we're not best friends, but I feel like we've always gotten along very well. You did me a huge favor once, which is I wrote a sketch. You were musical guest with John Hamm in 2010 on SNL. And one of the favorite things I've ever written was it was called Ham and Bubbly.
Changed my life.
And basically, John Hamm played a psychopath. He played himself as a psychopath. He'd opened a new restaurant that was ham and champagne.
It was specializing in, yes, pork products and fine champagne.
Yeah. And he insisted that you pronounce your last name Bubbly because that is the only way the title of the restaurant works.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember showing up to that taping.
Yeah.
And you were really excited. I remember I was so excited when I read it. I was like, this is so funny. This is so good. And I remember that you were excited. I remember that
It was really fun. Yeah.
And then I did a thing, I think Lauren had asked me to sing at a benefit. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember introducing me?
Did I get to introduce you to benefit?
You did. And you introduced me, and you basically said that you had given me the greatest thing I'd ever had in my career.
Yeah.
Which is
Ham and Bubbly.
Basically, he had made me.
I made you.
And you did. So skipping on to years later, I'm sitting in my kitchen, and my manager calls, and he goes, "Hey kid," he says, "Pepsi Cola's called you." I says, "Pepsi's called?" He says, "Yeah, they want to do a Super Bowl commercial with you." I said, "Super Bowl commercial? Like, yeah, of course I want to do a Super Bowl commercial. What's it for?" He said, "I don't know. It's for something called Bubbly." This is no lie. And I said, like, for Bubbly? What is Bubbly? And my sister was with me, and she was drinking it. She goes, "Oh, it's fantastic. It says bubbly water stuff." So no joke. So I said, "Well, send me whatever the concept is." And they send me the concept. And my first thought was, you stole this from Seth. That literally...
Can I tell you something funny?
Yes.
That was my first reaction, too.
Was it honestly? It should have been.
When I saw it, it was so funny because someone goes, "They stole it from you." I'm like, I just pronounced his name different. It wasn't like... I came there pretty naturally.
But it was... What's amazing is I did thinking, oh, there was Super Bowl. This is amazing, a Super Bowl ad. And now, 7 years later, and I still do stuff for Bubbly.
Yeah, that's great.
Bubbly. I still can't get it right. Bubbly, Bubbly. It tastes good, though, when you mix it with my booze.
It is. It is so nice to have you in New York City. Obviously, you've done shows all over the world. Do you remember your first show in New York City?
Yeah, my first show, the big first show, was at the Blue Note.
Okay, jazz club.
It was jazz club, little jazz club, and it was amazing because, like, for so many years, I had worked like any stand-up or any musician. I worked in nightclubs, and no one ever paid to see me. they would just pay to, you know, to show up.
go
and-
to a nightclub, yeah, and
Get
hear
laid
music.
or to,
Yeah, yeah.
get drunk.
Yeah.
And then...
So they were brothels. You're saying they were brothels.
Basically. And I would show up. So like for the first time, people were gonna pay money to see me. So I remember I went to have lunch at this place called Patsy's that I loved here. And I would, thank you, one person. Thank you so much. And I remember that I was just like blown away because there was a big line, like a big line up the block to get into the Blue Note. And I remember that there was a sweet little woman in the back of the line, and I said, hi. I said, I'm Michael Bublé. And I said, I just can't believe that you're waiting in line to see me. And she said, yeah, we're waiting. You better be good. New York.
Greatest city in the world. Greatest city in the world.
Greatest.
I got a lot more to ask you about The Voice. We're going to be back with Michael right after this.